I thought it would be more centered in economics and how to make a ton of money. And I see like there's a consensus that this has to be for the public good, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah, so that there's a I don't know what's going on, but I feel that there's kind of like a social awakening happening right now, man. Like everyone is like focusing on creating stuff that make impact, and that actually can change the traditional ways of interacting with each other, and also the ways of creating value. Which I personally think is going to be game changer in the next few years. And like all these new protocols are actually rewarding people for contributing and for doing good for the world. And like a clear example is Gitcoin. Like today we had an amazing conversation with Kevin about public funding and public infrastructure and the commons, how to fund public goods. And yeah, that the main idea is like not create zero sum games, but actually net positive games, where by you contributing you're actually able to gain rewards. And yeah, that's I find it super interesting. And well, as you know, like Gitcoin is actually one of the largest DAOs right now.
Yeah, Gitcoin is going through the roof. The Kano project, so anyone who wants to get into the blockchain industry, Web3, and building public goods, just check out Kano project on Gitcoin. It's basically an onboarding community. You just go and you start interacting with people. They teach you about like the space, the basics. You have a lot of talks about the philosophy behind everything, and you get to connect with people who actually also already contribute and work in the industry. So yeah, check that out. It's something that didn't exist when I started, and I wish it did. Now I'm so jealous of this people.
Yeah, actually, the kernel is creating so much value in the space. Like, so many people are getting on board to the Web3 thanks to this new program that Gitcoin decided to create and so on. But also, the meta game has been trying to onboard a lot of people, and actually, we have Pete here today with us. As well, and maybe Pete, you can tell a little bit about what is the meta game and what is it about.
Well, I jumped in at the right time.
Yeah, you jumped in the right time.
I was just walking by. Metagame is basically an onboarding system for crypto. Like we're trying to get people to speak louder, because I always speak really quietly. Yeah, creating an onboarding system for crypto, like a place where people can learn like what crypto is about, other than just like price pumps, and like learn what it actually is about and how to get involved, because like most people have no idea how to get involved. Most people like, oh, I'm not a developer, like what can I even do?
Yeah,
there's so much to do.
Yeah, like most of the people think that crypto is only for techie people,
Right.
When in reality there are so many things that we could potentially do, like creating content, or creating enabling people to actually work together, and managing the projects.
Just welcoming people to Discord.
Oh yeah, even that, even as simple as saying hello, welcome here, and yeah, most of the people. One of the things that I found like lately is that most of the people actually want to be told what to do, which is actually against kind of like the ethos of what we're doing here, right? That anyone has something to contribute to society or to different projects, and everyone has something to contribute, right? So that's also like when we started talking about metagame and so on, and how we could potentially connect people with the different projects and different things that can be solved. I personally found that super interesting, and yeah, I'm actually super happy to be part of the metagame since the very beginning. I haven't been active lately, but it's been it's a great opportunity to see like how it's been evolving and how we've been onboarding more and more people to the space. Bro, thank you for joining us today here. We have also Anya. You should come here. Yes, you should come here. What's up? How's it going?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're actually live right now.
Cool. Hey everybody.
So, Anya, who are you?
I'm a legal wizard. That's what my business card actually says. I'm a legal wizard from the DoinGud team, and it's been great being part of the team.
How has it been your week?
So far, so good actually. There's been a lot of legal talks at EthCC. It's been incredible. We've been just hearing the EUC, which is the European Crypto Initiative, talking to the regulators of European Union, opening up the MiCA regulation. It's been incredible. I mean, there's plenty of good people. It's good to be back in Paris and meeting everybody and mingling and learning all the stuff, meeting Vitalik, and it's been crazy.
Yeah, it's been a crazy week. What have you learned?
Oof. Okay. So about the European Crypto Initiative, I learned that they're really doing some great stuff. They're really talking to the regulators and pushing the changes in the right direction so that DeFi actually grows bigger and is not being obstructed. That's one thing. There's going to be plenty more that we're going to be learning about the legitimacy, which is going to happen tomorrow because there's a workshop of Koala. What else have I learned? That Primavera is working on a space project and we're going to create the NFTs to go to the moon and do a base there. So that's incredible. We're definitely going to be talking about that more often. Another thing that I've learned is that a lot of people are now looking into the public goods and the social
yeah, it's a big
That's
wave.
what we were
It's a
talking
big-
today.
Yeah.
Big, big wave coming.
So that's also something that we need to emphasize and that we need to recognize, especially working with DoinGud. Because I mean, the fact that we are actually going to support and donate to a social impact organization, I think that that's something that everybody wants to see in this space more often, actually. What about you? What's up, Adrian?
What did I learn? What was awesome? No, I love socializing in this session, in this event more than usual because I think I've done many now, and I mostly realize that I get more by just connecting with people. That talks are cool and so on, but the most of what I get is by just actually talking directly with people, connecting, and see if we have anything in common that like we can work together or anything we can learn from each other. Yeah, I think so. It's been like really 100% focused on that, and getting all these videos also together with the guys was really a lot of fun. But yeah, I think like also I was quite surprised on the focus, like really strong focus on the public goods. Even yesterday on Vitalik's talk, he again talked about this and about retroactively funding public goods. So it's kind of something that's been happening a lot lately, and it looks like by doing this speech, he wants to support this movement to get a sort of emerging standard, right? Every time we have a conference and speech that's from such highly regarded person, this is a kind of like, hey, this is a statement, hey, what should we do in the next 6 months, 12 months?
It's a long overdue statement.
I
mean, we've been addressing the governance of the public goods in several areas, not just crypto.
Yeah.
And it might be an issue a lot bigger than just the crypto space, right? We were talking about, for example, how the nation states are dealing with the public goods, especially public procurement, for example, and how we govern our shared resources. And I don't think we actually have like a good perception of it because we're only now progressing towards the idea of having a global consciousness. And getting to realize that we share the same planet, we share the same air, we share the global resources that we need to take care of.
Yeah.
And it's not only retroactively; it might as well be how do we actually govern it with the perspective of the future. So what is it that we can do today so that we protect it 10 years down the road?
Yeah, I think the opportunity we have in the space is that first, we've got an incredible amount of capital flowing into crypto. So people who actually never had this level of wealth get to have a say on a really international level because they get to have access to really large amount of capital, and that they typically would say, hey, I actually grew up without that much and I don't really care to have that much. So what can I do with that? I have a responsibility. And we have a really fast movement. So the difference with the rest of the world is that capital is flowing very fast and change is coming very fast within the space. So, you know, 6 months after 6 months or 1 year after another, we just iterate and everything can change. So 1 year ago, we didn't have this amount of talks around public goods, and now we have like this like huge push, you know, not just doing good like project, but also a lot of other projects. Bitcoin rising super strong after several years of working, you know, in the trenches, building without a token, now launching a token, and now you look at the website, it's like, whoa, this is big, you know, what they're doing. Um, so I think that's the advantage we have with the rest of the world, basically. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Also, we have here with us Joshua, who's been working with Opolis, and Opolis actually has a really, really interesting model, which is bringing the cooperative model to the digital world. And actually, I'd love to learn more about how is that, or what does it even mean?
Thanks, Manu. Yeah, I'm Joshua, membership steward at Opolis. We're an employment cooperative. We help freelancers, startup founders, people working ethereally gain access to high quality group rate benefits like healthcare, payroll. We do crypto payroll, retirement accounts, all that stuff. So a lot of people in the ethereal space, that's all of Web3, not just Ethereum, don't have employment benefits. And so one of the things I found at the conference is that there's a lot of people who are working in the space who just don't have access to benefits, either because their DAO is not registered somewhere, it's not a legal entity, or they're just paying in USDC. And so we're able to set these people up with benefits.
Yeah, and I'm actually super excited about that because currently in DoinGud, we're having that issue.
Yeah.
You know, we're having that issue that everyone is receiving grants in USDC, and how can we make this actually, easy for everyone and not so difficult? So that's actually why I'm super excited about what Opolis is doing. Right now, they're only working in the US, but they're going to be launching pretty soon, hopefully, crossing the fingers in Europe.
Canada by the end of the quarter, Europe and the UK by the end of the year, and then hopefully to South America and East Asia.
That would be super nice.
You in Portugal, Switzerland, those places where everybody's going.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of Puerto Rico this week.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. Where else? Yeah, we need you in Europe. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a lot of freelancers in Europe?
Yes,
everyone.
Lots of people in Europe, but they all scattered. But now, so what's going on is you have a regulatory race within Europe, right? It's like people are going where the regulation is more friendly, of course, right? I mean, countries are small.
That makes sense.
Sometimes it's just a couple of hours drive to get to a country that's more friendly. So
More friendly in terms of less cap gains?
or just where it's easier to deal with the authorities. Like if you want to talk to an accountant in some countries, it's easy because they have friendly laws. So even if you want to be very transparent with everything you do, in some countries it's super complicated because you go to an accountant and he's totally lost,
But I'm glad we have a person that is going to actually rescue us from the nightmare.
Rescue us, yes.
No, for real, it has been a nightmare. You have a incorporated entity, right? Somewhere in Europe, let's say. And then you have a bunch of people working for you around the world. And then all of a sudden, because you're responsible, or at least you want to help those people, do everything compliantly, do everything legit, you want to make sure that those people are also protected, that they have the social security, that they know how to pay the taxes, everything. And this is what you basically do, as far as I understood it.
Yeah.
You help the freelancers.
Yeah, so one of the important things is when you work for a DAO, you're not paying into a couple funds that the government really wants you to pay into, like Social Security, Medicare. This is for the US specifically. Unemployment, which is a fund that you have to pay into. It's an insurance, and workers' compensation. And so the way we set it up, you're a 1099 for the DAO that you work for, you're a W-2 for the cooperative, and you're paying into all of these funds. So the government loves it, the individuals love it, and the companies / DAOs that we're helping love it because they don't have to deal with the compliance.
You'd be surprised. We just had like a conversation with about 10 to 20 lawyers, employment lawyers that is, from different jurisdictions, and we're just getting the invoices, the proposals, and seeing what are the costs for us to pay, so to be protected. And it's incredible. I mean, it's one thing to actually have global workers or global contributors, and it's another thing to actually be legally compliant and legally covered with all these lawyers around the world.
So when you look at history and you look at people who go to jail for crimes, what is the thing that they're always getting in trouble for?
I don't know. Tell me about it.
Anybody want to take a guess? Taxes. Taxes, how they get everybody. So they got Capone. He was doing lots of other terrible things. Taxes. You got to pay the government what they want. And so there's this sentiment in crypto that we're supposed to not follow the law, or we're hiding gains or whatever. No, that's exactly the wrong thing to do. You should pay the taxes where they should be, which is employment and income, and then they're going to leave us alone. And so Opolis is this bridge between Web 2 and Web 3. We help these people be compliant so that you can do all the fun ethereal things that you want to do without, risking your founders going to jail or you having all of your assets seized.
And what have you learned this week here at EthCC?
I'm going to change the question a little bit. I think my favorite part was in Vitalik's keynote.
Yes.
What is that? What everybody's saying?
Yeah, bro. This is I think the topic of the whole EthCC.
No, but let's hear it.
Let's hear it. Yeah, I want to hear it from you.
Yeah, he's got a great sense of humor. The AK-47 joke was great. I like the concept of retroactively
Rewarding.
Yeah, retroactively rewarding. That's kind of what we've done inside of Opolis. You've got these people who are running their payroll. This is part of payroll mining, which is for the more money, the more salary that you're running through the cooperative, the more work you earn. It's a patronage token. So for the more payroll that you run, the more work that you're going to earn. But the blocks are only mined based off of growth thresholds. We're a payroll company, so growth in payroll is what we're going for. And so when we meet these growth thresholds, new work is mined, and it goes to everybody who helped to get us to that next milestone. And it was really great to hear that, this is the model that we designed, and then here's Vitalik saying, this is how you should be running your communities, your ecosystems, because this is the best way to incentivize the things we want to get to.
Yeah.
This is actually a model that relies severely on the past data and the analytics that we are able to do, and then based on that, we are actually rewarding people for the past actions or past conduct. Do you think that there's an opportunity for us to actually look into the future and say, well, we might as well be rewarding people for the future work or, grants proposals, for example, and not only rely on the past data that we are able to analyze, but also say, okay, here's the money. You promised to be spent for several reasons, and we provide it to you for the future actions. It's almost like a public procurement type of a thing, but not state-oriented.
I don't know if I know the answer to that question. But one of the things that we struggle with in technology, we don't know what's going to come next. We know broadly what we need. We know broadly where we need to go. But what is the technology? If you ask these people 10 years ago, would it be on a blockchain? That nobody would have known. But we do need to get people to start thinking on longer time horizons. Instead of the airdrop next month, we need to be thinking about infrastructure years from now, bringing it back to Opolis, this employment DAO that's going to cover all the ethereal workers in the world. We're aiming to build a global public utility infrastructure for employment. And so if we can incentivize members to help us get there, I think we've set off on the mission statement that Vitalik said.
Yeah, man, and that's why I'm super excited to be we're going to be working together on this. So It's
Manu's doing good as a coalition member.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to be, trying to find ways to create more public infrastructure for everyone. Um, so that's kind of like the idea here. And also, I had another question. Um, Now that you're leaving EthCC, now that today is the last day,
Sure.
What are you expecting to see next year?
Next year's what? Next year's EthCC?
Yeah. What would you like to see? What would you like to see more and more?
What would I like to see more? I don't know.
No?
This is my first ECC.
Is it?
So I feel
let's
like it
say
would be unfair to criticize. I don't know.
Let's talk about not ECC in general, but more like about.
I know. I'd like to see more normies. I'd like to see. I think. Okay, so I was at Bitcoin Miami before this. The ratio of men to women at Bitcoin Miami was like 10,000 to 1. And the ratio here was like 20 to 1, maybe 50 to 1. I think we're doing a significantly better job of bringing women into the space. I'd like to see that number shrink for the next one, get it closer to parity.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Like, we definitely need to bring more, let's say, more people to the space that are not necessarily, let's say, geeks, right? Like, this should be
geeks.
Yeah, this should be something for everyone. Like,
I think we're
Right.
getting there. I think
yeah, but right now, like, the barriers are so high. Like, people get so confused. Like, they really don't know how to enter the space. They're like, okay, what is cryptocurrency? How do you hold it? Like, how do you do it in a secure way? There's so many barriers right now.
Ooh, I'd like to see. So we've got this line, this fight between delegated private key management and custody. And on the one hand, it's like the not your keys, not your crypto. But on the other hand, the apps that we're seeing that are bringing significantly more people into the space are like Magic and Portis, where there's this delegated private key management solution where someone can just log in with an email, and then they have this Ethereum address, which is how we do our Opolis login, because a lot of our members are normies. And that's not pejorative. That's just normal people. We're weird. We're geeks. We need to bring people in who are everyday, and they don't want to set up a private key.
we friendly geeks.
Yeah, friendly geeks.
Very friendly.
How many
We
people
can
are
come.
gonna,
We'll give you some hugs.
How many people are going to properly store the 12 seed phrase? And it's just it's not, and you lose that, and you just lose all of your employment. Like, that's not.
Yeah, that's not the space that we
There needs to
want.
be a recovery for that.
Yeah, like that's actually one of the barriers that everyone has is how they can do it safely, right? And without worrying too much about where is it that I'm storing it and anything like that. So, and also another thing that I was thinking about, like, how are going to be how the creators that are selling NFTs and are making some money using this technology, how are they going to be compliant as well? That's also another barrier that they're themselves asking a lot. Like, they don't really know how to do that, and actually there's no clear guidelines either anywhere. So we need to get better at that, I guess, and create more structures that enable people to do things in a compliant way, because we want to be compliant. We want things to be how they're supposed to be for society. So yeah, that's actually, I think it's going to be in the next few years way more and more tools for making it easier, hopefully. And Opolis is one of them. I hope that also at DoinGud we're also able to do that and help out the different creators that are going to be doing launching stuff within our platform.
We actually have some NFT artists who are employee members of Opolis. I'm not going to dox their membership, but what they do is they've got these this income that's coming in from OpenSea and Rarible through these commissions as pieces are sold and resold, and we're able to process that USDC income. So we take the USDC, we're able to pay for the premiums that they elect. So whether it's healthcare. We pay all the taxes they need to, and we drop the remainder of that as a paycheck that they're just getting on a semi-monthly basis, first and third Friday. And so because we're paying all those taxes, they don't have to worry about that. That's a really good question, Manu.
Yeah. Now,
Thanks for having me.
yeah, awesome, man. Joshua, thanks for being here, and I give you a hug. You know that I give hugs. And yeah, let's build a better world, bro.
A little better world.
And also, we have here a friend that is working in also something super cool, which is the Jab DAO. And yeah, you've also been like in the space for a while, I guess, right?
Yeah, so I've been here since like 2018, right? And like just recently got into DeFi, really last year when farming started. So yeah, you know, I've been around for a while, but with everything that's developed recently in farming, you know, it's like a whole different game now. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been quite an experience for me. I don't come from any kind of technical background, right? That's the thing about what I do is I'm a community manager. I help build our communities, right? So you don't necessarily have to have technical skills to get into DeFi, right? Anybody can do this, and that's the best thing about it. And that's what I try to tell people, and how I try to help onboard people is that.
How do you get into the space?
Well, to me personally, I had lost my job, and then due to COVID, I had come down with a form of leukemia. So after treatment, I couldn't go back to work because of COVID. I didn't have an immune system, and I really didn't have any other options. I cashed out my 401k and I dove straight into crypto, and I went all in. You know, I'd been looking into Ethereum and Bitcoin leading up to that, and I knew quite a bit about cryptocurrencies. I wasn't around for the 2017 ICO craze, but I came around shortly after that. So. You know, it was quite an interesting time for me.
Amazing. And what's happening with your T-shirt?
Oh, so yeah. Well, you know, being kind of pseudonymous, I guess. I'm not really anonymous. I don't mind being doxxed, but you know, everybody's kind of known me as Poopster from Harvest Finance. So I decided to go ahead and put together just a T-shirt so people would recognize me here, because a lot of people don't know my my name, right? My real name. So yeah, and then I just had all my friends that I met here. You know, I had them all sign it as a kind of just a way to remember this cool time. You know, because this is my first conference, this is my first time overseas, and I really wanted to do something that would memorialize it. You know,
I'm so glad that we got to know each other.
Yeah, me too.
We're gonna be, you know,
working together,
right. Building stuff together. What do you recommend for people that are trying to enter the space? What should they be looking at? What should they be doing? Yeah, just give them some recommendations.
Sure, yeah. So, you know, I mean, the first thing I tell people is don't dive all in. You know, people have a tendency to just jump in feet first, you know, and that can be dangerous, you know, especially with as volatile as these markets are. So a lot of times I'm going to always recommend that people do their own research. You know, I can help you, and I can make recommendations and try to help you learn things. But at the end of the day, you're responsible for your own money, and I can't be responsible for it. So you need to know what's going on with your money and where it's going. So you know, yeah. But I'm always able to help recommend like some things to help. There's some videos out there like DeFi Dad, and there's several tutorials on YouTube where anybody can get started in DeFi. You know, it's really easy, and we're currently working to make that easier. But you know, as you know, it's a long process.
For sure it is. And can you tell us a little bit about the Jab DAO? What is it about?
Well, Jab DAO, right? So so like what we want to do is we want to enable all of our creators. So there's a whole market of creators out there, right? Marketing, PR, right? And how do you connect them with these projects? Well, I mean, DAOs are a big thing now, right? So naturally, our idea was launch a DAO and let's connect people, right? Let's put the people who need the services, the PR that we can offer, the marketing type, you know, to get their name out there. And let's bring them in and let's get them with the projects that are looking for the help, right? So we're connecting projects and people that need help in the industry, right? And yeah, so I'm really excited about it. I'm really looking forward to it. I know I said I was going to put the Discord together. I'm going to jump on that this evening. I'm really excited to get to work and just start helping out here. And, you know, whatever it takes. It's really a awesome time, and I'm excited for YapDAO, really.
Yeah, awesome, man. I'm super excited, and let's build a better world, no?
No, well, let me give you real quick one example. I'm working with a smaller project called Geyser, right? So Geyser, we wanted to use Yap. The problem is Yap didn't have the bandwidth to accommodate that because they've just been overloaded, right? So now that we have YapDAO, we can facilitate helping out some of these smaller projects that we may not have bandwidth to dedicate to the entire thing. So, yeah, you know, I think that YapDAO is going to help a lot of these smaller projects. You know, these upstarts that need they need a little help getting started, right?
Yeah,
So,
awesome, man.
looking forward
to working together and building a lot of
doing
stuff.
awesome stuff, right?
Yeah, together. Yeah. Thank you so much. Bro.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And now we got Raul. Raul, yeah, tell us a little bit about you, bro. Who are you? Where are you from?
I'm a guy from Madrid, from a city in the south of Madrid, and I got into crypto. I'm a developer. I've been working on corporations, Samsung, this kind of stuff, but I was going to go back to I did a little bit of entrepreneurship, but when I discovered like you can program money, like I've never been into economics or anything, but now it's in a language that I can understand, and it's so powerful that you know you have to get in and do it for good, because if not,
why do it for good? I love that.
Because if not, someone is going to do it for bad. If you get in earlier and you complaining later that they are using it against us, is it's pointless. Just go in and build what you want.
And what is it that you're building?
I'm building Ethic Hub, which is a project we're connecting yield farmers with actual farmers. So you can finance coffee producers in Mexico, hopefully soon in Brazil, with DAI, with XI actually at the moment. But the idea is to all this liquidity that is in DeFi, move it to make impact in the real world. And also the reality of this coffee producer now is they have loans of 50 to 100% interest yearly. They are fucked basically.
Yeah.
So in this way we can like reduce a lot of the loans they have, and equilibrate a little the flow of value globally.
Awesome. So essentially, you're like enabling people that didn't have access to this type of loans, so they can actually produce and provide for society.
They basically go out of the cycle of poverty they're trapped in, because they need the money for work in the fields. So they have a huge interest. They are going to give the production to the same guy who is actually lending the money at lower price. So they're trapped with this. Also, this sounds like altruism, but this is the base of the pyramid. There are millions and millions of farmers, and it's actually a blue ocean opportunity to include people in the system.
Awesome, amazing. And what do you learn? What do you learn here in EthCC?
That there's a lot of awesome people working on this. I put a lot of faces on avatars or meeting people that have been working for months, and also like getting my head blown in the technical conference. A lot of networking opportunities, collaborations with other projects. It's amazing. Also, Paris. It's awesome. Come on.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm super excited about what you guys are doing, and I hope that we can find ways to work together and work together. And yeah, man, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And just tell everyone the last thing. What do you recommend them? How they can enter the space? Just the last thing for them.
Start small, and be careful. Just go easy and research a lot. But the user experience of the wallets is getting better, so just maybe play with a mobile wallet that is easy. Buy some ether, try around. Play with it a little, and then when you're feeling more confident, go in.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Raul, for being here and for sharing all of this with us.
Thank you.
And with the DoinGud community. And now we have Adrian here.
We have Jerome from Cometh with us. Do you want to tell us a bit more about you?
Yeah, so I'm the president of Ethereum France and founder of Cometh, who presented this year and we was a sponsor. I'm hosting this conference since 5 years. Well, technically 4, but officially 5, because we did EthCon in Paris first and then 4 edition of EthCC.
Awesome.
And I'm super pumped to have everybody in Paris again.
How different did you find this edition?
Much hotter.
Much hotter?
Yeah, it's the first time we organize it in July. Usually we do it in the first week of March. But also a special vibe. Like everybody is not. I mean, I feel like everybody lacks the practice of going to conferences, so everybody is both a little bit dizzy at the same time. Well, the heat doesn't help too much, but also everybody is super happy to see everyone.
Yeah.
So it's really wonderful vibe.
And what about the themes, like the topics that came up? What did you see that you didn't see before, or what kind of focus did you see that?
Oh, we definitely saw much more NFTs than before. Definitely the revelation of the year, and also lots of DeFi. Like we try to figure out which are going to be the tracks of the year, and we try to have sort of a lot of heterogeneity in the different things. But it turns out that so many topics were about DeFi, and like we could have had a full EthCC about DeFi if we wanted to. We had to select and not have too many things in double, but that's fine. Like we had a great time, and I'm looking forward to see what will be next. Maybe Ethereum 2 focus EthCC next year.
Oh wow, yeah, that would be super exciting. What about the people you met? Anyone special? Any special people or special learning from this edition?
I met a 15-year-old who came by being invited by a VC that the VC wanted to introduce this new genius that's passionate about Ethereum, that's building games and DeFi for another company. And he made the trip from Canada to Paris, and he is participating to the hackathon this weekend. That's one of the fresh new faces I saw, and otherwise, we have the main speakers of the community that comes every year. So it's a pleasure for me to see them again every time they come in Paris. So I was super happy to see them again, and yeah, discover new faces. I just cited one. But it's a pleasure to see new people coming in this ecosystem and being passionate about coming in.
Great. What about, so you have a project also in the NFT space?
Yep.
What is the most exciting thing for you within the NFT space? The most exciting use cases that you think will be huge in the coming years?
Well, right now, many artists are using NFT to represent their art or to link their art to the blockchain. I think very few of them are yet exploring what blockchain can bring as a medium. Kevin Abosh is one of the artists that really tried to do things with this, but so far it's still to be explored. Like let's say an NFT that changed with a block time, for example, that change every time it's being transferred. We are only seeing the tip of the iceberg in this, so really looking forward in the next years to see artists being super innovative on how they use blockchain inside their art, rather than just using blockchain as a way to represent their art.
Yeah.
And one of the best use cases I think for NFT is gaming, and at large blockchain for gaming. So it's one of I made a project in this space.
Yeah.
I'm exploring in this as well. And we're looking forward to see what will come next, how we will apply blockchain to gaming in this sense. I like the fact that you can use an NFT from one game to another. Back when I was a kid, when I put a save on my memory card on my PS1, and it has an effect on another game because they say, "Oh, you're playing this game when I'm another game."
Yeah.
So committed to this game, so engaged. Wow, you can read my memory card. Well, this kind of trick It's native to the blockchain. So let me use a hash mask inside Comet, for example. Let me change the way my spaceship looks because I have a hash mask. So this kind of cross NFT interaction is going to be really fun to see happen, and we will do that in the next release of Comet.
Yeah, so like this sort of like composability of NFTs is really also what's been the huge thing in DeFi, right? What got DeFi to go through the roof, and it was also used sometime in funny ways. We had like this vampire attack. The first one was SushiSwap doing like liquidity mining, like attracting liquidity from Uniswap to essentially launch their own project. Do you think it's something that might happen? Like we'll have maybe like Axie Infinity getting a vampire attack from like a copycat that wants to do something kind of the same but not the same?
Well, let's think about what liquidity is to DeFi compared to what it could be in the gaming space.
Mm-hmm.
So liquidity is like the fuel that fuels your decks.
Mm-hmm.
So when you do a vampire attack, you try to steal the fuel of someone else. Like No Country for Old Men. You're like sucking out the oil from someone else by digging a well close by. In the gaming space, like you cannot steal my NFTs. Or maybe if a game
you could support NFTs just like you support LP tokens.
But let's say you have yield generating NFTs and you figure out a way to launch your game by saying, hey, I want to attract all the spaceships of Comet in my game. I'm going to manage it and I'm give away for you like whatever. And at this time I'm controlling the NFTs and I'm using them for my own purpose. But it's still linked to Comet. And if our community would see that and will be super pissed off by this, we would have mean to blacklist those NFT inside the game.
Right.
So they don't have. I mean, what's interesting with NFTs is that they are what they are. Like they can be transferred, they can represent anything, and they have the properties of a standard token that's non-fungible, hence the name NFT. But they have a usage when they have a usage inside a certain context, and this context is oftentimes governed by a DAO. So I'm not too afraid of this concept of vampire attack, but much more afraid of saying, okay, there is a limited supply of players, and one game is having them all, which we haven't seen any time in the gaming space. So
no, it will never happen for sure. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thanks for the conference, man.
Yeah, thanks for organizing it, man.
Yeah, anytime. Please come back next year.
Yeah, we will definitely come back. Okay, and now we have Amber, and please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you very much. Hey, my name is Amber. I'm the CEO of a company called Kaiko, and we are a market data provider in the crypto space, aggregating data from all cryptocurrency exchanges, centralized, decentralized, and we're making that available to whoever needs to use data.
Awesome. And how did you enter the space?
So I used to be an investment banker for about 10 years based out of London, but my background is math and computer science, and so I've always been interested in all things math, finance, money, and technology. And so completely randomly, I stumbled upon the white paper that was back in 2012.
Which white paper?
The Bitcoin white paper. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
In 2012, yes, you're right. Technically, white papers could be anything. I meant the Bitcoin white paper. And I went to a really obscure underground Bitcoin meetup in London, and that's how it started.
Oh, wow. Nice. And what did you start doing when you discovered the space?
So first I bought some, it was funny, it was physically minted Bitcoins. So it was like sterling silver coins that had a QR code that was a private key on it. And that was my first kind of way of acquiring crypto. And I still have those coins. They're like
no way.
They're like a collectible now. They're worth nothing, but they're a collectible. And that was my first kind of way into Bitcoin. Then I started reading more and more.
Crazy. So that physical element.
Yes, which is very weird, right? There was a Canadian guys that were at that meetup, and they were selling those physically minted Bitcoins, and it was actually a coin of sterling silver, and the QR code was actually showing you the equivalent value of that amount of silver in crypto. So it was actually not pegged to the value of Bitcoin, but pegged to the value of silver. And that was my first time I got screwed over crypto. And then I started buying real Bitcoin. Real Bitcoin, owning really Bitcoin, and then Ethereum, and then kind of got dragged into the rabbit hole. And I ended up leaving investment banking back in 2016
and I acquired Kaiko. I'm not the original founder, but I acquired it from the original guy who moved on to Ledger. So the founder of Kaiko is now Ledger CEO, and I took over Kaiko, and that's how I got here.
Nice. And how was your week so far?
Incredible. I'm very tired. I think my voice can tell. No, it was an incredible week. It's so nice after a year and a half of lockdown to be together. I felt the first day coming, and I saw all these people outside at EthCC. I was like, the feeling that you have in your stomach when you're a kid and you go back to school and you start seeing your friends out there. It was really a really awesome week.
How has it been the last year for you, like being locked down and so on? Like how have you been working with other people?
So we hated lockdown. My team is not a full decentralized team. We like being together. We grew a lot. We went from 15 to 35 in the past year. We raised our Series A, and so we really focused on like execution, product, improving the brand generally. We're a B2B company, so we're focused on selling to enterprises, institutions. And so we got our head down and worked quite hard. So it's even more rewarding to be together now, see all that yielding.
Nice. And were you at the Vitalik?
Yes.
Yeah. What did you learn about it?
You know what happened? I didn't know when it was happening, and I was walking at EthCC. I was like, "What happened? Was there a fire drill or something?" I didn't realize, and then I realized the building was empty because everybody was in the theater. I thought it was super cool, and I really like what he says about beyond DeFi. Like everything is about just financial services and all those kind of APY things on DeFi. And I think I like how he thinks about how we can make better use of blockchain and improve what we have, rather than just kind of focusing on short-term benefits and acquiring volume by giving yield and tokens. So I thought it was a very good speech that focused back around building and adding value, and all what he said around social media and using Ethereum for social media was very interesting too.
Yeah, awesome. What do you think about how blockchain can be used for doing good for humanity?
Well, I think it's a lot of getting rid of middlemen. I think that's one thing. I come from the financial industry, and I have to say, between the guy who lends money and the guy who borrows money, there's generally a lot of intermediaries. I think that's one of the interesting use cases where decentralization actually enables the removal of intermediaries and friction/expensive points. And I think that is something very disintermediating financial systems and making a much more lean, transparent, auditable, and kind of peer-to-peer financial system. I think it's incredible and it's a good start for humanity.
Awesome. And what do you want to see in 10 years? How do you want to see the space evolve?
Well, I hope we keep, I really like the values in the Ethereum community. I think there's a lot of intelligence. There's a lot of looking out for each other, collaborating. I love that we were not at an all-time high during this conference. I think, we could have been tempted by some form of exuberance, which I don't think looks like the Ethereum community. So I hope we keep building. I hope we keep the same kind of values of honesty and bienveillance, we say in French. That's definitely important, and that we're going to see in more and more industrial applications, right? People that are actually using blockchain because it just makes everything better. So it could be financial services, it could be trade finance, it could be shipping, it could be representing just ownership of assets. Today, everything is already digital. It's about what is the back end of that digital representation of your ownership and how you then transfer such ownership. So I'm really interested in all the industrial applications of blockchain that have an impact in real life and make just things better in general.
Yeah, amazing. And for people that are entering the space, what do you recommend them?
I recommend don't buy synthetics on Revolut. Get your own crypto and make the effort of taking it and putting it on a wallet where you control a private key. And for me, doing that is the first baby bath, the small pool. This is owning crypto. I think we need to make people understand that owning crypto means owning crypto. It's the whole kind of, not your key, not your coin, I think is very important. I get tired of people that are like, I bought Ethereum on Revolut or whatever app where I'm like, no, you didn't buy. You bought an exposure to the price of the assets. You bought a synthetic, you bought whatever, but you cannot withdraw your coin. And the portability of assets on blockchain are what make blockchain unique. It's about kind of the power, also to the responsibility of owning something. And so I guess the first advice I would get is do the exercise of buying crypto €5. It doesn't have to be huge, but do the exercise of really owning it and not trusting someone for owning it for you.
Yay! Awesome. Yeah, thank you for being here, and we will see you next year.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Thanks.
And now we have here Clement.
Hi.
How's it going, Clement?
Very good, Ian.
Pretty good, pretty good. How has it been your week so far?
Quite nice. Like that's the only event I managed to attend since the last EthCC because of all the COVID restrictions and stuff like that. So we're happy to send people in the physical space.
Awesome, man. And tell us a little bit about you, who you are as an individual, as a human, and what have you done in the space?
Yeah, so I was interested by crypto quite like back in 2013. At the time, I was just like playing a bit, like with multi-sig and stuff like that, or selling crypto, local Bitcoin. You can't do that anymore. Like local Bitcoin is not local Bitcoin anymore because you cannot do any local trade anymore. And yeah, like with Federico, I co-founded Claros, which is a dispute resolution system.
What is it again?
Dispute resolution system. So it's a brick. Dispute resolution brick that you will use in any blockchain application which need to get some information which is either subjective or out of the chain. So for example, you have a prediction market and you will have some people who may want to bet on who will win the US election, and people can lie, like we can say, okay, like Trump won or Trump didn't win, but they can lie. So in this case, we need to solve disputes. So what is happened, it's gonna call Claros, which is drawing some jurors, and the juror can look at evidence of different parties, and then they can vote on, okay, did Trump win the election or did Trump lose the election? And depending on what the juror votes, the smart contract can enforce a set of actions, like, for example, moving some money for people who have a token of Trump losing the election, for example. So that's an example, like, so it's an Oracle use case. We have a lot of use cases with TCRs. For example, we have proof of humanity, where it's a registry of humans, and the goal is to make sure you can only register once. So it's Sibyl resistance. You can register only one time. And now if you have a guy who's trying to register multiple times, then again, someone can challenge it, and then you will have a dispute, which is, okay, like, was this guy already registered or not? And again, you need like some subjectivity to determine if he was already registered or not.
And what is it used for, the proof of humanity? Currently.
So it's you have two main use cases currently. You have UBI, which is the universal basic income that you get once per hour. You get one UBI. We have also Bitcoin grants. Bitcoin grants, where they are giving some matching to projects which are getting some donations. Maybe if you give $1 of donation, it's going to lead to some maybe $1 of matching. But now if you give $2 of donation, you will not get $2 of matching. You will get slightly a bit less. Whereas the idea is that a lot of small donation will lead to more matching than one really big donation. So in this system, you need to prevent people from making a lot of accounts, because if I want to give $1,000, I could use 1,000 account of $1 each, which will lead to more matching. So that's why you want to prevent people from using a lot of accounts. And proof of humanity is one of the ways that Bitcoin uses to try to detect if people are still attacking the system, so making tons of fake accounts to play, try to game the matching.
And how many humans are currently using the protocol?
I think it's like 8,000 to 9,000, something like that.
When did it start?
Maybe 6 months ago, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So it's growing in a healthy pace, and the idea is like to have everyone register in this, let's say, curated registry, or what?
Yeah, like as many people as possible. Like, if you get more people registered, it's also even more interesting for the project to use it, because like the goal is that you get into proof of humanity, and then you can use your proof of humanity identity in any of the projects which are relying on proof of humanity, instead of having to like verify yourself every time you want to use a new application. So you should get some sort of like economies of scale if you have a lot of projects using proof of humanity.
Perfect. And how can we use blockchain for doing good for the world?
I think there are a bunch of ways. So like we talked previously about universal basic income, because most of the project, like most of the crypto projects, have been giving a lot of tokens to like early backers. which can become an issue if the project is successful. Okay, that's great, but it's not really interesting for like most people, which already arrive quite late, and they will not get like a fair share of the value which is created by the blockchain transition. So you get this, you get the universal basic income, you have some interesting like blockchain for good project, like for example proof of impact fundraising, where you want to fight against homelessness, for example, but in the current donation system, like you're gonna donate to someone because like to an association because okay, like the association has some like fancy marketing and is a bit known, but you don't really know which association is the most efficient to solve homelessness with the money you are giving it to it. Association.
So what do we need to have? Is
Yes.
it more transparency or what is?
No, it's not about more transparency. It's more about market mechanism, like getting market mechanism for good. So here, instead of giving some money to an association to end homelessness, what you will do, you will give money to the goal of ending homelessness. And if so, you get some tokens, and if the association is doing a quite bad work, you will just get your donation back. But then the association managed to go past some success metric, then the money you gave for this particular cause are going to be redeemable by the association, but the association has this tokenized, so they can actually sell it before. So they can sell that to an impact investor. So someone can say, okay, I think this association has 80% chance of reaching this goal, so I'm buying this token, which would be worth $1 if the association succeeds, but 0 if the association fails at 0.8 euro, $0.8. And then if it works, well, they're gonna have made some profits of 20 cents, and if it doesn't work, they will have lost some money. So for that, they have some incentive to do some due diligence on the association to see if they want to fund this project or not. So I think what blockchain is bringing is like the efficiencies of market mechanism more to the mass and also to public goods. Like markets are already efficient and also efficiently used to trade private goods. Like private goods, it's like a computer or an Apple or something like that. But for public good, we haven't seen that much efficient market mechanism yet. Public good tend to mostly be funded by state or by people who are like giving donations, philanthropists, and there is not really like this kind of market mechanism which allocates resources efficiently. Because government they're gonna kind of like evaluate what they want to fund or what they don't want to fund, but the individual which are evaluating they don't have that much like skin in the game in if this project is gonna have a good impact or not. While if you open that to market mechanism, well you're gonna have some way efficient allocation for public good funding.
Yeah, amazing, man. Yeah, well, I don't know if you heard what we're working on right now, which is enabling creators to stream money to social causes whenever they sell their NFTs. So they can decide what is the percentage that they want to donate to a specific organization and so on. So yeah, I definitely find super interesting what you're talking about because yeah, there are many mechanics that can be built for doing good for the world.
Yeah, so in this case, they may not stream to an association, but they may stream to a cause, and then association can like get some funding via selling in advance the donation that will only be conditional, only if the project is successful, and they can get some funding. And this way, they don't need to be like expert because like most people they are not experts in like evaluating if an association is efficient or likely to succeed in a goal, and it will not be an efficient way to do it anyway. Like we don't need to have like all the people donating, like 100 or 1,000 people donating, is doing their own due diligence on the association. That will be already inefficient. So on that, you can have market mechanism which can allow this kind of better funding. And we can also link back to Claros, like well, then you have the problem, which is how do you determine if a goal is reached or not? So that's also something which can be leading to dispute on like was this goal reached or not. And basically, I just also gave you another example of prediction markets. Even in this case, like say like the context, but this is based on some elections and more some like public good funding.
Yeah, and do you see the talk by Vitalik?
Yeah, I saw talk by Vitalik. Actually, he mentioned the humanity a few times. that's quite nice. Also about social networks, I think new social networks are going to be quite interesting. And again, that should have some pretty good impact because currently there is maybe too much power which reside in huge like Web2 companies about censoring people or not. And you also get some fragmentation, like it's leading to tribalism. You will get like, for example, people who were on free speech, they will end up on Gab, but then you also get like a lot of I don't know, like it's not Nazi, but like extreme right wings which will be there. So even if you want some free speech platform, you probably don't want to be there because you can be with a lot of extremists there. While with blockchain, you could set up better social media platform, social network platforms, where you could have the content curation be a choice of the user. So, for example, I could have like all this kind of stuff I can check. Like, are you okay to see nudity? Yes, no. Are you okay to see blasphemy? Yes, no. Are you okay to see extreme views, which may make you uncomfortable? Yes, no. And in this case, people could be on the same platform, but they will have some different sort of content filters. In this way, you don't have this tribalism where only people speak with people of the same tribe, because it leads to some irrational behavior and just people fighting.
Echo chambers.
Yeah, like just because they are part of a different tribe, even some stuff that they would probably have agreed if you didn't see this tribalism.
Awesome. And just the last question: How do you see the world in 10 years from now?
It's hard to know
by
the exact
using blockchain. I say.
Yeah, like I'm not sure you're gonna be there completely in 10 years, but I will probably be way more advanced in this process. You'll probably see like significant protocol replacing all the institutions, but not only on finance. You're already seeing that on finance. I think now pretty much everyone who spends the time in the crypto space and made their research should probably be convinced that most of the finance is going to go decentralized. But no, we don't see that much like non-financial use cases. Like, for example, I think something, well, we spoke previously about social network, so I would expect to see social networks, like blockchain social network, probably at the
managed by the community.
Probably at the same level as we are seeing DeFi now. So probably would have taken over completely, but they would be kind of like in the past, where pretty much everyone who have made the diligence know that they will do it, and just a question of time. Social network, we probably have also on workers, like you will get some decentralized version of Ubers.
Oh yes.
You will also probably get way more. Like it redefines the way we work. Like currently, most people they are working for an employer or they are contractors, but they generally need to have someone which saying, okay, I want to buy your service. But now we're probably gonna see permissionless work, where you can work but you don't need to ask anyone authorization to work. Like, for example, being a miner, it's an example of permissionless work. You don't need to ask anyone if you can be a miner. You just do the mining work and then you get paid. Close we get like Linguo, which is a permissionless work platform for translations. So here you don't need to see the client and say, hey, can you take me as your translator? No, like you take some translation task. Obviously, if you do it badly, you will be penalized because if it's open, people need to ask you the game, not to abuse the system. But that will also make a way more inclusive economic system because you would not even have bias into hiring people, because you don't even hire people. Like, people, they hire themselves, and then if they fuck up, they need to be penalized, because that's the thing. Like, that's the cliche. But like, with great power is great responsibilities. So in this case, that's economic responsibilities if you don't perform well, and I expect to see that for like Uber, deliveries,
services,
like all of those services which can be pretty much commoditized. Like, if you are an artist, probably you can't probably do that because it's something which is very specific. Your work is very, very linked to your
creativity,
to your personality. So this one is not really commoditized because you cannot swap an artist to another one, but you can swap a Uber driver to another one. So this kind of work can be commoditized and can lead to permissionless work on those particular kind of works. Yeah.
Amazing, man. Well, thank you so much for sharing that knowledge, and let's create a better world, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man. And Adrian,
Yes.
yeah, basically, yeah, we are pretty much at the end of EthCC. We're kind of like the last ones, the last ones here, and yeah, we're trying to get as many perspectives from the community and from the builders. So yeah, what do you think? What do you think? What's going to happen next year? What are we going to see next year?
Next year, I think we'll see like the next generations of NFTs. I think that's really what what I would think will happen. Like right now, like Jerome was saying earlier, we see like just the tip of the iceberg. It's like an NFT that represents something, but we can use NFTs that are mutable, that represent experiences, that evolve through time, that give you a lot more than just an image, you know. So it can be art that evolves. It can be representing a reputation that evolves. It can be representing a financial instrument that evolves. It can be representing I don't know, any type of ownership that actually evolves through time. And I think that's probably what people will realize as they get more into the space. Right now it's like the first baby step is like, let's go full degen on NFTs, you know, and anything that can be represented. And the next step is like, okay, now that we've played around and gone crazy on speculation, what do we do now? Like, because there's a lot more we can do, right?
Yeah, it's time to do good.
Yeah,
It's time to do good. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thanks to these guys right here. Let me show you those guys right there. Yeah, thank you guys. All right. Ciao.